We pick up the paper every day, there's something about higher ed. I'm going to argue today that most of that is anxiety that's being driven by what's happening in our public institutions in the United States. But we tend to be the poster child because of our sticker prices. People always say to me, why does college cost so much, right? And I would argue fundamentally, it really doesn't. But if you look, the vast majority, 60% of students in this country are paying less than $12,000 a year for their college education. Why is everyone yelling about higher ed all the time? Okay? And the answer is, it's because of the growth, I think, in costs. That growth being very much above inflation. Now, this graph shows you the real price, if we kept prices at 1981-82, 30 years later, what the prices are today. Why is the cost of publics going up so much? State appropriations, right? Okay. Tuition increases in public institutions tend to be counter-cyclical. So the economy gets really bad, tax revenue goes down, so then appropriations fall, and so then what happens to tuition? It goes up, right? So the private institutions tend to be pro-cyclical. When family incomes are going up, tuition's going up. So the bigger that endowment is, or those appropriations are, right, or gifts are, the greater the subsidy that an institution can provide in terms of what they spend per student. But all institutions are subsidizing. Here's our sector here at private bachelors, okay? Private doctoral is a very rich group of institutions, right? A lot of the Ivies, very high subsidies per student. This was a really interesting thing that was published in the New York Times, and they showed for 3 different families, family A, $50,000, family B, $100,000 household income, family C, $150,000. You will find that Colorado College is cheaper than the University of Illinois in-state resident, right, for a family A, for family B, and only when you get to $150,000 and more does Colorado College become more expensive net. Where's most of our budgets? Those of you who've served on your budget committees. Salaries, right? 50% roughly plus of at our institutions is going to salaries. We are one of the highest percentages of highly educated workers of any industry at over 80%. So if you think about it, is it surprising if we have more highly educated workers than people who make widgets, right? Is it surprising that our cost is going up quicker than theirs? We have not had a productivity improvement in higher ed. Still, doing what we do is one faculty member who's extremely well educated and really talented with a small number of students is still the magic formula. And we haven't figured out a way to do the same thing we do for a lower price. We could add more students to your class, and does that make you more productive? Only if the quality is the same. And what would we argue? No. If we're going to have quality people enter the academy and do what we do, we've got to pay prices that are competitive. And that's increasing much quicker, even though we're not getting those same productivity gains that they're getting in the other sectors. And here is the fundamental problem in our market. Okay? We are in an industry where we know what we are maximizing, kind of, right? But we really can't measure it very well. If you think about all of our inputs to quality, we could also write these down. Faculty, students, facilities, programs, staff, athletics, fitness centers, and food, and the quality of the dorms, right? But all those things are jumbled in there, right? And so making the decisions on where to put the next dollar to have the biggest impact is really difficult.